Ja, soweit ich weiß, das ist Molly.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Pick Droppers, back at it again with a 2018 to 2019 NFL AFC Predictions video. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over who I think will land in what seed for the AFC for this upcoming season. That would be 1 through 16 seeds. 1 through 4 seeds are obviously going to be the division winners, and then 5 and 6 seed are going to be the two teams that I think will get the wild cards, and the rest of the teams are the teams I think will not make it to the playoffs. So let's get right into it. So at number 16, I have the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets team this year is horrible. They have a horrible QB. They have Josh McCown, who most likely will be their starter this year, and they might put in Sam Darnold, who is the rookie out of USC, I'm pretty sure. And he's, obviously a rookie, so I'm not going to expect anything from him. I'm expecting Josh McCown to play most of, if not the whole year, and I'm just not expecting much from the QB. And that has something to do with them having a horrible set of running backs with Isaiah Crowell to lead it. He is just not what you want at your starting running back. They have okay wide receivers, Robbie Anderson, who played pretty well this past year. Jermaine Kearse, who has proven that he's not a bum. Obviously, he looked a little better playing with Russell Wilson, but he's not a bum. You got Quincy Enunwa, and then to finish it off, you have Terrell Pryor, who maybe he could play quarterback, because their quarterback situation is horrible. But I'm just kidding. But their wide receivers definitely aren't horrible, but they're not good. They have a horrible O-line, horrible defense, and I feel like they overachieved last year. And they have a pretty easy strength of schedule, but I'm just not expecting anything from them. Obviously, their division's going to help them, having the Bills and the Dolphins, but I'm just not expecting anything from them. They don't have any flashy players. Their defense is horrible. Their offensive line is horrible. Their running back is horrible. Their QB is horrible. Todd Bowles doesn't know what he's doing. He's pretty bad. And so all you got is really your wide receiver core, because your tight end is also pretty bad. So I honestly don't know what the Jets are going to do. They're a New York team, so New York's going to get really angry really fast. I don't know what they're going to do. If I'm the Jets, I tank. You got to get a good pick. And they're probably going to not try and tank, and they're still going to play horrible. So I see them being the 16th seed. Now, coming in at the 15th seed, I have the Miami Dolphins. Big thing for the Miami Dolphins, they finally got their quarterback back. Ryan Tannehill, he's back from injury. You get to get rid of Jay Cutler, who was horrible for their team last year. So you got Ryan Tannehill back, who last time he played, he did pretty well. I'm pretty sure he was just above 500 last time he played a full season. Hopefully Ryan Gase can help out, because he's done pretty well with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. They got Frank Gore. Frank Gore's finally away from Indianapolis, but he's getting up there in age. Obviously, he's known for his years for the 49ers. He was all right for Indianapolis. Well, he wasn't all right. He was a good running back for Indianapolis. He's been very consistent. Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame running back, but he's getting up there in age. I don't know if he has another 1,000-yard season in him. He might, but then again, he might not. They got Danny Amendola, who previously played for the Patriots. I'm not expecting him to do anything. I feel like he was a product of Tom Brady. The O-line is pretty trash. I gotta admit, their O-line is definitely nothing to be happy about. I'm pretty sure they lost Richie Incognito. Oh, wait, no, they lost him a while back. Never mind. But their defense is bad. It's not horrible, but it's just bad. Their secondary is horrible, other than Rashad Jones. They just have no cornerbacks whatsoever. And besides Rashad Jones, the other safety is just complete trash. They lost Ndamukong Suh. They still got Cameron Wake and Kiko Alonso, so that's going to be good for their defense. But losing Suh is going to be a huge blow. And they have a medium strength of schedule, medium to easy. They're definitely going to be helped out by their division with the Jets and the Bills. And yeah, besides that, they have a pretty medium strength of schedule. But coming in at number 14, and this is what I found out really weird by looking at my schedule, I have the Buffalo Bills. So all three of the worst teams in this conference, I feel like, are at the bottom of the division. I feel like all three of these teams might get one or two wins outside of the division each, but that's probably most. I'm expecting them to all range from 0 to 4 wins, probably 1 to 4 wins. The Bills, they lost Tyrod Taylor. They're horrible at the QB position with A.J. McCarron or Josh Allen, whoever's going to play for them. They're both complete garbage. They have a 30-year-old LaShawn McCoy, which should be interesting. I don't expect him to do too much. They traded for Kelvin Benjamin. He is, I don't even know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's still overweight or if he's changed that. He wasn't able to do much at Carolina, and we'll see what he can do. But their offense is just trash. That's the best way to put it. Their tight end situation is complete garbage. Their wide receiver situation is garbage. Their line is garbage. It's just a bunch of garbage for the Bills. They got Vontae Davis, who's an old cornerback, used to play for Indianapolis, so we'll see how that goes. Their defense is okay. I feel like their defense could help them get a win or two. That's why I put them above the Jets and the Dolphins. I feel like that defense is going to propel them to a couple of victories. And don't forget, they did make the playoffs last year, and they did pretty well 2 years ago. I just don't see how they're going to do it again, especially with that quarterback situation. We saw what happened when Tyrod went down. Obviously, they had Nathan Peterman in, but 5 interceptions is just unacceptable. He's going to be their third string this year. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But yeah, I feel like as a team, LaShawn McCoy is going to take a huge step back, and that is just going to hit their offense really badly. I feel like their offense rushing game is just not going to be what it was last year. I'm pretty sure last year they were like number 1 in rushing or something. And it's definitely going to hurt not having Tyrod Taylor because LaShawn McCoy is going to they're not going to be looking out for the quarterback to run. They're just going to be zoning in on LaShawn McCoy. But coming in at number 13, I have the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, obviously they got Case Keenum from Minnesota. Their quarterback situation, therefore, is complete garbage. But it's been garbage for the last 3-4 years, ever since Peyton Manning's last year. From that point on, they were just horrible QB situation, obviously, with Brock Osweiler and then the failure of a pick that Paxton Lynch was. You would think John Elway would know how to pick quarterbacks, but it would surprise you. No, he does not. They have a horrible running back in Devontae Booker because they lost C.J. Anderson. I do not know why they didn't re-sign him. It might have been something to do with the cap or something. I don't know. But Devontae Booker is definitely nothing special. They have okay wide receivers. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. They're actually pretty good. I would say they have good wide receivers. But with a quarterback like Case Keenum, I feel like he's not going to be able to do anything. I feel like he was a little overrated in Minnesota. And last year, he definitely had a good year. I just don't think he's going to be able to have another good year. They have a horrible tight end. His name's Jake Butt. I mean, do I really need to say anything else? They lost Aqib Talib, which is great. They gave him up to the Rams, who are amazing this year. So that's definitely going to help out their defense, losing a top cornerback. They have a mediocre O-line. And with their defense, it's just an all-right defense. I remember when they were a top defense. Now they're just all-right. They've lost so many good players, and they still have 2 really good cornerbacks, but I feel like besides that, they're just in shambles now on defense and as a whole team. And then on top of that, they have a super hard strength of schedule, so I just don't see them doing anything, especially with their schedule. I feel like if they had easier strength of schedule, I would have put them a little bit higher, but because of that, I feel like where they're at right now is where they should be. And then coming in at number 12, I have the Indianapolis Colts. Big news here. They're finally getting Andrew Luck back after being injured throughout the whole season last year. 2 years ago, he was injured, but he played a little bit, but he was still injured apparently. So their QB coming back, that's going to be huge, especially Andrew Luck, how good of a quarterback he is. He had 3 straight 11-5 seasons, and then 2 years ago, obviously, he went 8-7. So I'm expecting the Colts or him to help out the Colts a little bit. But the problem is, I'm just going to go through their team. Their running back is horrible. They have Marlon Mack at running back. That's just complete garbage. Their O-line is known to be horrible. Can't protect Andrew Luck to save their lives. Their wide receivers are complete garbage, except for T.Y. Hilton. So maybe T.Y. Hilton can carry the wide receiver core. In fantasy, I would definitely pick him up, though, because he's going to be doing all the work. They do have good tight ends, though. That's one thing they do have working for them. They have good tight ends in Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron. I feel like both those are established tight ends. Andrew Luck, obviously, already playing with Jack Doyle before he got injured, and Eric Ebron coming over from Detroit. They got a new head coach, which I feel like was definitely needed. Chuck Pagano, I'm pretty sure he was the coach before, and he just needed to. He was not helpful at all as a coach. He could not get a good O-line in front of Andrew Luck to save his life. Whether that was him or the front office, we'll see. But yeah, that he was just not able to protect Andrew Luck at all. And then, yeah, the O-line is just, that's going to be the big thing that's going to hurt him this year, and that's why I put him so low. That O-line is horrible. And then their defense, there's really no notable players on their defense. Their defense is just complete, like, bums everywhere. Safety, cornerback, linebacker, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive ends, nose tackles. I mean, they just have nothing on defense. Obviously, they lost Vontae Davis, so that's going to be a big blow to their cornerbacks, because I feel like he was definitely pretty good, even though he was getting up there in age. And then on top of that, they have a hard strength schedule. The only position I feel like they're above average in, other than cornerback, is tight end and kicker. That's about it. That's about it. And when kicker is your top three positions, that's saying something. And then their hard strength of schedule obviously is going to hurt them. The division is very tough. I see them winning maybe 1 or 2 division games with Houston, Jacksonville, and Tennessee all top 8 or 9 teams in my opinion. So I'm definitely not expecting too much from their division. So they're going to need to get outside of division wins, and I do not see that happening. But we'll see. I definitely feel like because of Andrew Luck, that's going to grant him multiple wins. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they won like 6-7 games, but right now I feel like they're going to win like 4 or 5. And I feel like it's not going to be Andrew Luck's fault. Andrew Luck's definitely going to help him, but he can't help that much. But coming in at number 11, I have the Cleveland Browns. Good news, Cleveland Brown fans. You guys are going to win more than one game. You're not going to go 0-16. At least I think you're not. They got Tyrod Taylor at at quarterback. Oh my God, Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Obviously, a great runner. That's what I was trying to say. A great runner. So he's definitely gonna help out with their running game. Baker Mayfield should play around midway through the season. I feel like they're just gonna throw him in after Tyrod's lost a couple of games, because Tyrod's really nothing special. Obviously, he's a product of Virginia Tech. He was nothing special there. He was a late round pick. He's done all right in the NFL for sure. All right, I'll give that to him. But you know, I'm expecting Baker Mayfield to definitely get some reps in there later in the season. Obviously, they got Carlos Hyde from San Francisco. They picked up Nick Chubb in the draft out of Ohio State, I'm pretty sure. And he's going to be their running back too. They got Jarvis Landry from Miami. They got Josh Gordon back from his multiple suspensions, so we'll see how that does. So I'm definitely excited for their offense. I feel like the Browns have new fire, and obviously that's going to help with all their new acquisitions. But what's going to stink is, one, they lost Joe Thomas to retirement. He was a big motivation to Cleveland, and obviously he was a great offensive lineman. And then on top of that, their coach is just complete garbage. I mean, Hugh Jackson is one of the worst coaches in the NFL, maybe the worst. He's gone 1-31, and I'll admit it's not all his fault, but the way he coaches and the way players talk about him, he sounds horrible. He sounds like one of the worst coaches ever. You could tell in Hard Knocks he was like yelling at Todd Haley over something. And he just sounded horrible. And so he's just not a good head coach at all. and I'm expecting this to be his last season for sure. But they picked up some good players for the defense for sure. So I feel like that's going to help. And obviously, their division's going to help them. You got Cincinnati and the Ravens, and then you have the Steelers who like to play down to their competition. So that's going to be nice. So I'm expecting their team to get a couple of wins. The reason I do not have them higher is because they have a pretty hard strength of schedule, and so I feel like with that strength of schedule, their wins are gonna be few and far between. But I could definitely see them winning 4 or 5 games, just like the Colts. But coming in at number 10, I have the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, they have a horrible quarterback in Joe Flacco. I'll say that right now. Their quarterback is complete garbage. He's super overrated. And now people are finally understanding that Joe Flacco, he's overpaid. He's terrible. And so the Ravens picked Lamar Jackson with the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL draft. And I'm expecting him to come in and save the team midway through the season. They have a pretty bad running back, but I'll see what they do there at running back. They have okay wide receivers. They picked up John Brown from the Cardinals, so he should help. They picked up Willie Snead from New Orleans, so he should definitely help at wide receiver. But I feel like what's going to bring them some victories is their great defense. They have an amazing defense, and so I'm expecting their defense to help carry them to multiple wins. I'm expecting the Ravens to have like a 6-7 win season, and that's going to be mainly because of their defense. And the reason I don't have them at more wins is because of their strength of schedule is supposed to be really hard. And so with that hard strength of schedule, I just expect a couple more losses than usual. But coming in at number 9, I have the San Diego Chargers. So the Chargers, they have a good QB at Phillip Rivers. They have a great running back in Melvin Gordon. They have good wide receivers, which should definitely help. Obviously, Keenan Allen. He's a very good wide receiver, and so I'm expecting some good things from the offense, but they're known for injuries. They've already lost Hunter Henry, their tight end, for the season, and then on defense, they lost Jason Verrett for the season. He's obviously a very good cornerback, and so that's definitely going to hurt them a lot. But what's lucky for them is they still have a good defense. I just feel like those two blows, and Chargers are known to be very unlucky for some reason. I don't know what it is. And then obviously because they're now in LA, and LA fans don't like to show up really for football games, their home games aren't really going to be like serious home games. So I feel like that might actually cost them a game or two. Maybe just a game, or maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's definitely going to hurt them. And they have like a medium strength of schedule, so that should help them a little bit, but I just feel like they're going to be the 9 seed. Now coming in at number 8, I have the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have a good QB in Marcus Mariota. He's definitely good. He should be better than last year, mainly because they have a new coach. Finally, I know that the Titans hated their last coach, Mike Mularkey, so they have a new one. I'm pretty sure it's like Mike Rabel, or maybe that was a different team's coach, but they definitely have a new head coach, which is going to be huge because their last head coach hated letting Marcus Mariota fling the ball on offense, so I'm expecting Marcus Mariota to definitely be improved this season. DeMarco Murray at running back, he's obviously gone for like domestic violence issues or something. I don't know what he's doing right now, but he is not on the Titans any longer. So now we get Derrick Henry. We get to see what he's able to do. He's obviously very powerful runner. So I'm expecting him to definitely help out the team. Jonathan Cyprien tore his ACL, so that defense is definitely going to take a little bit of a toll. But overall, they have pretty bad wide receivers, which might hurt. You got Corey Davis, who should be better than last year. I'm pretty sure last year or 2 years ago was his rookie year. I think it was last year. But he should improve a little bit. But Other than him, they have Matthews, who I'm not expecting to do very much. So I'm expecting a pretty bad season from the tight ends, wide receivers this year. They have a great O-line, which should help, especially with their Derrick Henry at running back. They picked up Malcolm Butler, who should help with the cornerbacks, but with Jonathan Cyprien down, he was a very good safety. He came over from the Jaguars, I'm pretty sure. Overall, they have a medium strength of schedule, I would say. Medium. Their defense should help, though. They have a pretty good defense. But overall, I see them getting maybe 8 wins. Maybe, if they're lucky, 9 wins. But coming in at number 7, the one team that barely missed the playoffs, I have the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, last year was a big disappointment. They have an okay quarterback in Andy Dalton, okay running backs with Mixon and Bernard. They have good wide receiving core, especially with A.J. Green coming back. That's going to be huge for them. And obviously, they have a good O-line. They traded for some O-linemen in Cordy Glenn. And then they paid their defensive linemen, those 2 big boys up front. And their defensive line is just amazing. And then they have a very good defense. They're just going to need to fix some minor details, especially with their coach, obviously known for never getting a playoff win. They lost Pac-Man Jones, and Vontaze Burfict is suspended right now. So that's going to hurt them for the first couple of games, but I feel like once Vontaze comes back, their defense is definitely going to step it up. They do have a very hard strength of schedule, so that's going to hurt them. But other than that, definitely expecting a good year from the Bengals. I feel like they could definitely win 9-10 games this year. But for sure, I'm expecting them to step it up from last year because I feel like last year was a big disappointment. I feel like that had something to do with their quarterback not playing up to how he should have. And I'm expecting Tyler Eifert also to have a good year for the Bengals. Andy Dalton to Tyler Eifert was obviously a big connection last year, but Tyler Eifert has just been injured the whole season so I'm not expecting him to do too much unless he can come back from his consistent injuries. But coming in at number 6, the team I have as wild card number 2 is the team with the new coach, John Gruden. Yeah, that's the right brother. John Gruden as their coach, the Oakland Raiders. Their QB is 1.5 years removed from an injury, Derek Carr. Obviously, he's should be back to 100% this year. You got Marshawn Lynch at running back, who's definitely a proven runner. He's should be happy with his great O-line. The Raiders are obviously known to have a really good O-line, so that should definitely help Marshawn Lynch. Carter Cooper connection should be back. I'm expecting Cooper to have a bounce back year. Obviously, you still got Seth Roberts as a wide receiver. But the problem is your defense is super suspect, especially with Khalil Mack holding out. If Khalil Mack keeps holding out, I could see the Raiders and the Bengals switching, or the Raiders moving a little bit farther down. But I feel like that offense is just too potent for that to happen. Last year, I feel like, was an off year. I remember 2 years ago, Raiders were able to throw up like 35 against the Steelers. It was like a 38-35 game. Steelers won that, though. But yeah, the Raiders, they 2 years ago, they used to be a firepower offense. I feel like they're going to get back to that. Obviously, they got Martavius Bryant in a trade. He's going to help out at wide receiver. They got him from Pittsburgh, and hopefully he's happy there because he definitely caused drama issues in Pittsburgh. Their defense is it's going to be a huge problem. They have a horrible defense, especially without Khalil Mack, and no one knows how long he's going to hold out. He could hold out for 0 games. He could hold out for 1 game, 5 games, 10 games, the whole season. Nobody knows. So that's definitely going to hurt the Raiders, especially with him holding out. But coming in at number 5, the number 1 wild card spot is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, last year they won the division. I'm expecting them to take a step back. The reason for that is they are no longer the worst team in their division, so they're going to be playing better teams. They're going to be playing top teams in their division in their conference, because that's how the scheduling works. Because they were the last seed in their division, they went up against the last seeds in all the other divisions in the AFC last year. But this year, because they're the top of their division, they're going to go up against whoever was the top of their division throughout all the divisions in the AFC. So their schedule is definitely much tougher. They have a horrible QB in Blake Bortles. He is just god-awful. But he's able to get the job done some days. You got Leonard Fournette at running back who should help. Their division is back, though. Their division is much better than they were last year. Andrew Luck's no longer injured. Deshaun Watson is no longer injured. Their division is back, and so I'm expecting a couple losses from their division. Obviously, the Titans play the Jaguars super well. So I'm expecting a good amount of division losses. I would not be surprised if the Jags went 2-4 or 3-3 in their division. They lost Allen Hurns. They lost Allen Robinson. Both, I'm pretty sure, to free agency, and they lost Marquise Lee. He is out for the year with an injury. So their wide receiving core is just complete and utter garbage. So their offense is just going to be so bad this year. I feel like they're going to play just like the Ravens. They're just going to hope their defense can put up some points. And their defense is just so good, I think they're going to be able to bring them all the way to the 5 seed. But I feel like Jalen Ramsey is just talking too much. I feel like teams are going to want to show up and show out against the Jaguars, especially with Jalen Ramsey talking so much crap to all the other teams and to all these other players talking about how bad they are. They have a great defense, though, and I feel like their defense is just going to help them out a ton, but they have a much harder schedule than last year, so I do not think they will win the division, but I do see them as the 5 seed, and they have a super hard strength of schedule, so we should see what they do, but I feel like they will be the wild card 1. And then coming in at number 4, your division winning Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, big news with them. They lost their quarterback, Alex Smith. They got their new young quarterback with a strong arm. He is definitely going to help them out. Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he is definitely what Kansas City needs. Someone young. He has a huge arm, so him and Tyreek Hill definitely going to connect for some long bombs. But the loss of Alex Smith definitely is going to hurt a little bit. You got Kareem Hunt in his second year. Teams, I feel like, are going to figure him out. I feel like he had a couple of big games last year, and I feel like he's going to slow down this year. They have a great coach, Andy Reid, obviously proven that he's really good. They got Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, who they traded for at wide receiver. Sammy Watkins, obviously, he's been thrown around. First, he was in Buffalo. Then I'm pretty sure he was in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. And then he got traded all the way to the Chiefs. Obviously, they lost Marcus Peters in that trade. So that's going to be rough for their defense. But on offense, they also got Travis Kelce. So their offense is definitely going to put up some numbers. But I feel like their defense is definitely looking very bad. Especially with the loss of Marcus Peters. Obviously, they don't have Eric Berry. So I'm expecting them to have some points given up on defense for sure. But I see them being the 4 seed, and that's mainly because of their hard strength of schedule. That strength of schedule is just so tough. Their division, obviously, one of the best, and I don't see them winning too many games outside of or inside of their division to be able to propel them up too high in the conference standings. But I do see them winning their division. But coming in at number 3, I have the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson, obviously, very good rookie year last year. He's coming back from injury. They got Lamar Miller at running back. He's definitely going to help out, but I feel like Deshaun Watson is just such a good player. He proved last year how good of a player he was. He was able to throw touchdown for touchdown with Tom Brady, and I'm expecting him to do a lot. He has Hopkins and Fuller at wide receiver, who are definitely two very good wide receivers. Their defense is back from injury. I'm pretty sure J.J. Watt was out for like 14 weeks last year, or 13 weeks, so they're getting him back. That's going to be huge. They got their main tackler at middle linebacker. He's coming back, and so they picked up Tyrann Mathieu. And so I'm feeling like their defense is definitely going to be very stout next year. They're going to have a top-notch defense, and that's going to propel them all the way to the 3 seed. Their coach is now in his 3rd year, I'm pretty sure, Bill O'Brien. And they have a medium strength of schedule, so I see them coming in at the number 3 seed. But coming in at the number 2 seed, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, obviously, great QB in Big Ben. They have a great running back, Le'Veon Bell. Great wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown. So I'm definitely expecting their offense to do what they've always done. I'm expecting them to average like 30 points a game or something crazy. Their tight ends are a little iffy. Vince McDonald has been injured a little bit. And so their tight ends have definitely haven't been the best. They've been injured a lot this preseason. They could all be back week 1, all 3 of them, or they could be out for an extended time. All 3 of them, that be it. And their defense is good. I feel like they definitely have a top 15, top 16 defense, so better half of the league. I feel like their defense is definitely underrated. Their secondary obviously is horrible, but I feel like their front 7 is pretty good. They're going to need to fill the void for Ryan Shazier, though. But they're known for losing to bad teams, and they're known for playing down to their competition, and they don't play the best in division games. So I'm expecting a couple losses from bad teams and a couple losses in division games. And then they have a medium strength of schedule, so that's the reason why I got them at the 2 seed. Obviously, if they beat New England, I feel like they could be the 1 seed for sure. I feel like that game's going to be huge. But like I said, coming in at number 1, I mentioned them right before this, the New England Patriots again. They have the best quarterback to ever play football, Tom Brady. They have the best coach to ever coach in Bill Belichick. And they're just such a good tandem. I feel like they're just going to win so many games this year. They do have bad running backs in Rex Burkhead and James White, but they've never been one to have top-tier running backs. They've cut so many wide receivers this season, or in this preseason. They've just picked up wide receivers and dropped them right away. So that has definitely been noticeable, and obviously Julian Edelman had a 4-game suspension, so that's hurt. That hurt him, or that's going to hurt him for sure. But Gronk's still there. Bill Belichick's still there. So those 2 things are the reason why their team is just going to get like 12, 13 wins. They don't lose to bad teams ever, and so if they do lose, it's going to be to a very good team. They lost their defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia, but they have not lost their main offensive coordinator, so that's going to be a very good for them. Josh McDaniels was thinking about going to the Indianapolis Colts, but decided not to, and so they still got their offensive coordinator, and they have a super easy strength of schedule. They're the number 1 seed, I project, and the bottom 3 teams that I have are the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills, who are all in the same division as the Patriots, so their strength of schedule is definitely going to help them get a couple of wins. But I'm definitely interested to see what happens, and I'm super excited. But I'm just super excited for this NFL season, and I hope you guys are. Those are my predictions, and I want to hear your guys' predictions. I will be back right before the playoffs to give my playoffs predictions, and I'll see how these predictions went. I'm definitely going to keep them, and if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. But thank you guys for watching this video. Please like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and write a comment down below on what you'd like to see next. It's your boy Pick Droppers, and I'm out. Peace!